Hey, what is up, Moral Combat friends, family, fans?
Fans, for sure. Fans.
Moral Combat
MCPFs.
fans. That's what we always say.
We actually have a Moral Combat fan page that's popping off right now.
I saw that.
You saw the fan page?
Well, yeah, because you sent it to me.
Did I send you the fan page?
Yeah.
I don't remember sending you the fan page.
Who started the fan page?
I have no idea who started it. Someone did.
Oh.
Someone's out there starting a fan page.
Wondering, we'll find out soon if they're a real fan, see what they post about us.
I think they're trying to capitalize on our content. Either way, it's helping the podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Moral Combat Podcast. This is a podcast where we usually talk about specifically
religious trauma.
Yeah, this topic called religious trauma. We were both raised in a very radicalized Christian evangelical family. Our parents are pastors and have been almost 30 years now.
30? I guess if you include the youth pastor days.
Sure, yeah. I mean, senior pastors for a long time. The non-denominational organization called Calvary Chapel.
Yeah.
We've had so many guests on our podcast. And when me and Zach talk about our podcast, it's like we had season 1, which was like the first year and a half was like me and him just talking about our trauma. We had one guest on. Thank you, Austin. We see you, baby. In the first like 30 episodes, we had you.
There's going to be a day where we hit you back up to come back
Season
on.
2 was starting these interviews, which if this is your first time here, there's a lot of content that you can go back and watch and listen to people's stories from Baptist Church, the Mormon Church recently, other Christian evangelical churches, some amazing stories. I guess we could say this is somewhat like a season 3. This is our first solo podcast in a really long time.
Yep.
And what do we do on solo pod? We've had all these different segments.
Yeah.
And we've done like Moment to Reddit, where we talk about like Reddit posts that are like about Christian outrage or religious trauma or whatever.
Yeah.
We've done Moment for TikTok. We've done basically just different segments when we've done solo podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing this now. We're almost going on our 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, first solo podcast in so long. Zachary,
Yes.
I'm so happy to be with you.
Yes.
Our guests are so wonderful, but it feels good to be back here in the pocket, in the studio
pocket.
together.
Indeed.
And so this is what we're going to be doing now whenever we're solo together, which will probably be moving forward. We have ideas for interviews coming up, but we're taking a little bit of a break from interviews.
Well, we don't
In a way.
want to necessarily just say we're not going to be doing interviews. It's more of we feel that we want our interviews to remain important, and instead of it just being everyone's stories, which are very important still, but we're trying to be a little more nitpicky on which stories we want to be talking about and how we want to direct them.
And there's just also so much more to our show.
Yeah.
Our whole show wasn't doing interviews. It was literally me and Zach unloading vulnerably very crazy historical information that really bonded us back together and powerful healing. And so we've been doing this long enough now that we are really wanting to, have more fun.
Yeah.
The things that we like to do. Me and Zach. Zach, if you ever were curious, you could go check out his personal TikTok where all he does is light that shit up
that's not my personal TikTok. That's not even me, man. That's Signs.
Oh, that's Signs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Signs.
He's a
different
wild
entity.
cracker, man.
Yeah.
He pops off.
Zach likes doing the TikTok solo videos, controversy shit. He likes getting into it.
Yeah,
Me, not so much.
I like to see something that's like really triggering and then comment on it.
Right.
And see if people care about my comments, and they don't.
Yeah.
No one cares.
I know.
No, it's okay. That's the internet.
I mean, I rarely use TikTok, but when I do see your face, I'm like, oh, look, it's Zach. Scroll up because I know you.
It's cringe.
It is a little cringe.
Dude,
that's
no.
not bad. Cringe trends.
But anyone that you know that is talking into their phone, when you see them do it, it's cringe.
Yeah, because you're too close to home.
Everyone else that doesn't know me, it's just another dude on the phone.
Too close to home.
Yeah. But when it's too close to home, it's so cringe.
Imagine like every famous person, they have like their best friends, their closest friends.
That hate them.
And they're not friends anymore because it's just cringe.
Yeah. Or they just don't watch their shit.
Yeah.
They just don't watch their content.
It's like, it's too hard.
It's too hard.
All right, let's jump in. We're already talking too much.
Yeah.
Our goal is to try to be into our podcast before the first 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes soon, 2 minutes, 1 minute. We're getting better at this.
I think our intro should be no longer than 1 minute, and we should start the content.
We're jumping in. What we're talking about today is Christian outrage.
Yep.
You see, one of the things that we have learned on this podcast as being the two sole entities that record it, film it, perform it, edit it, post it, comment back on it, is we get more Christian outrage on all of our content. Actually, less on TikTok now.
Recently.
More, yeah. But it's mostly all Christian outrage. And anybody else that follows us that has religious trauma podcasts, we know that you see us and we see you. The direct messages that we get that nobody sees are brutal. And so there's so much going on in our society right now, politically. And in the news, every time you open up YouTube or your phone, there's going to be some sort of like crazy toxic shit going on of Christians being pissed off. And
Christians being
pissed off at other people making fun of the beliefs or whatever. There's a lot of outrage. And it's also being capitalized on by the greatest president of our entire country.
And the hugest, I heard them say the hugest.
I'm going to capitalize on the Christians moving forward. I see you. I'm not a Christian, but you're a Christian. I support you.
They love me. I could shoot them in the street. They'd still love me.
They'd still love me. Christians love me. Fascists love me. Yes, we're going to be touching on Trump, Kamala Harris. We're going to be doing some political fun shit. The Olympics.
Oh, yeah, we are, dude. There's a lot to talk about.
And we're excited about doing this now in our podcast. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. And so we want to be doing what we want to be doing.
Yes.
This might be a little bit more of an opinionated piece. Well, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
Our first segment that we're jumping into was a somewhat recent Instagram reel that, with our content, we do long content, we do short content, we do short, long content. And so there's a lot of avenues that people are picking up our content. And one of those are the shorts, or the reels that yours truly, Zachary Ryan Blaustone, creates.
If you've been following us for any amount of time, you would know that there's a couple of times throughout this podcast journey where Nathan will go on a rant about how we are all God.
Who, me?
You.
Me?
He'll say something along the lines of, I am God, you're God, we're just all God. We're all part of the same thing. And every time he says it, I love it because I believe it. I'm in it. But I clip it and I post it to the social medias because the Christians hate it if you claim that you are part of the same entity of God, or if we are all God and it's not just this one superior being telling us what to do. And the last few times we posted it, we normally pop off on YouTube and we'll have Christians come and comment, and it's normally like 5 or 6 comments.
Yeah.
It's normally nothing crazy, but it gets a pop, and it's kind of fun, and I like to poke the bear more than Nate likes to poke the bear. And so this one that recently has popped off, Nate's really poking the bear, and I didn't think it would do as well as it is, but it is kind of an experiment.
Yeah, it wasn't like planned to be. It was just Zach makes shorts.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for over 2.5 years, and something clicked with this one.
Dude, so
the ratio.
We have been getting, we posted this almost 6 weeks ago, and we get about 50 to 100 comments a day.
Yeah.
And from the far right extremists.
Yeah, all Christian
evangelical
fascists.
Christians, all telling us exactly what we tell them to tell us in the video.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating. We have almost 2,600 comments on it.
2,600 comments, 250 likes or something. So bad ratio.
Real bad on the likes.
But for us, we love that ratio because for us doing this podcast, we get to have our own experiment project that nobody else gets to see. And what we're doing on this podcast is proven every episode we post, me and Zach are like, oh, we're touching on a subject that Christians hate.
Yes.
And so this post was like, we've been talking about it. We're like, do we bring this up? Do we reshare it to our story? We don't want to like give any voice to the Christian fascists that hate us. But because of how much this blew up,
we want you guys to know what's going on.
and this is kind of the new podcast that we're going to be doing here on our solo, is touching on the hot shit, the shit that pisses people off that we are doing. Well, we're going to start poking that a little bit.
Yeah.
Giving you our opinions on this shit.
Opinions, baby. We have been trying to avoid opinions since this whole Palestine thing started to pop off. We definitely threw opinions on that.
Put opinions. What episode was that?
61.
61, where we come out hot.
Yeah, we had Andy Trimlet on, and he educated us immensely on everything going on over there. We already were on the side of the Palestines, but we are definitely on the side of the Palestines now, baby. Yep. And so we've stated some opinions, but there's a lot of things that we have kept our opinions to ourselves respectfully. And and
if you don't care about our opinions, we already know you don't care about our opinions.
You've been telling us in the comments, so it seems like you actually really care about our opinions.
Yeah. And
but that's okay.
Let's get into it. What's cool about this episode and moving forward is we have always had this great TV and sound system and cameras in here. Now we're using my laptop for the internet, and we have everything that we want to talk about up here. So the game cam that'll come later is now our content cam.
Yeah.
Of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to play the reel.
Yeah.
The We Are God reel that blew the fuck up. And then we're going to talk about it.
See if you remember it.
And see if we have any connections to it. What we remember being Christians as kids, how that would make us feel.
Oh, totally. Let's do it.
Here we go. I am God. You are God. We are God. Everything and everyone is God. And if you're a Christian watching this right now and that scares you, do me a favor and comment because we love that shit. Yeah. We love it when you comment that our podcast scares you and you want to share the Christ with us or how we got it wrong. Because we didn't read our Bible. I'm going to say it again. I am God. You are God. We are God. Everything and everyone is God. 100%.
It's so, dude. So how do you not clip that? It's so good.
That's it.
Yeah.
We've had to watch that so many times. I hate that video.
No,
I hate me in that video because I've seen it a million times because we've been talking about this and trying to understand. In that moment from that podcast, to go back to that episode, this was like 1 week before I went on my most recent plant medicine journey. That is where you're on. I was on a diet. I was at no salt. I was there. I was in peak performance when it comes to.
It was a day before you left.
It was a day before. There you go. So I was in it. This is true. We are all God. Everything is God. Everything is energy, and energy is everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny right before you go on like a journey or a retreat to heal. I'm hot-headed. I was ready, and I came back like.
Broken, but also built up.
We both have saved some comments because there really are 2,500 plus comments.
We don't want to promote anyone that's commenting. You can imagine what these radical Christians are saying to us. We just wanted to bring it to the light.
Let's go. How about this? You read one. I'm going to read one.
We have some funny ones, and then we have some ones that are incredibly triggering.
Yeah.
Most of them I laugh at because Christians... You can't make us Christian again.
Yeah.
We were Christians our whole lives. We came from a pastor's home, and we have now devoted our lives to advocate for religious trauma victims.
At least this time for our lives.
Yes.
Right? We're using this time.
Yes.
I wouldn't say we've devoted our whole lives.
No. I mean, how
could you? 2.5 years, we've devoted some time.
It's a huge amount of time. Either way, there's just, you can't put Bible verses down. You can't say certain things because it just instantly is like, okay, it's a joke.
Actually, in Ephesians, you're like,
oh my God. Yeah, dude, it means nothing.
Yikes.
Here, I'll take the first one.
Go
because
for it.
This,
we're blurring out the names, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not giving any promo for these people.
No, not at all. And probably going to blur out their pictures too. And we don't even necessarily need to show the comment. It might be good, whatever you want to do. We'll figure it out later.
Nah, we'll just read it.
But this one, most of the ones I picked, I tried to pick ones that were commented exactly the same by many, many people. Remember, we have over 2,600 comments, and so you start to see some patterns. And this one, I think, was commented about 10 times, exactly spelled this way. 2 white guys with a podcast, period. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like the
2 white guys with a podcast. Enough said.
That's been a comment on so many videos, but so popular on this one.
But you know what's
hilarious?
What's great about those comments? We get those comments on so much shit. Oh, look, 2 white guys with podcasts. Next.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is accurate.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you for there being something accurate.
Yeah.
If you have no idea, we have talked about our race and gender on this podcast so much.
Yeah.
We are so well aware that we're just two other white guys with opinions that... in a world full of white men with opinions, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. We're very well aware of it. But we've been gender bending.
Yep.
We've been religious trauma bending.
Yep.
And those are 2 things right there that white guys don't normally talk about on YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. 100%.
Love that comment.
Give me yours.
You're just a white guy.
You're just 2 white guys having a podcast. It's like, that's exactly what Good one, dude. That's a good zinger. I'm glad you got us.
Oh, trust me. You are right. Just lowercase God that sends you to hell.
Lowercase God. You're just a lowercase God.
Which is like poking, what's funny is it's poking at when I was young, I remember when I can really try to think back of what scared me so much as a Christian, as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old Christian, there was something that was ingrained in me that was so much about like other idols.
Yeah.
Deceiving idols that might manipulate you or trick you that they're God, but they're not real God. Those are the worst.
Yeah.
And so that's clearly what this is saying. Oh, you're a false prophet. You're one of those idols and you're not God, which is awful.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I actually understand I kind of remember that feeling.
Yeah, that fear.
To this day.
Totally.
Because it was like, I never knew anything else.
Dude, going through a lot of these comments, I think that's what's really triggering is I feel their fear.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like long
Sad.
paragraphs and they're terrified for us. They're terrified for what we're doing to the nation.
Yeah.
They're so scared.
Right.
And they're such a victim in it. And I remember feeling that same thing where it's like, you can't be doing what you're doing. You can't be doing that.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. We're trying to save everyone.
No.
Stop.
Yeah, that
It's like,
feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Ephesians,
Yeah.
John 3.
I just read this morning. God gave me this in my devotion. I need to show you.
Yeah. It's like straight panic.
It is.
That there's two white guys of the podcast that are coming out against your religion.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of two white guys with Christian podcasts coming out against my morality as well. So.
Yeah. What's new, pussycat?
What's new?
Whoa. Here we go. Someone else said this and was thrown out of heaven with a snake and fire emoji.
Yeah.
So they're comparing us to Satan.
Kind of
which that right there proves the point too.
Yeah.
What type of God throws out their companion?
Yeah.
Just because of a question they had, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're going to try to be me? Kill you, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like kicked out of heaven for eternity.
I'm going to start evil.
Yeah.
All of evil has started now.
Yeah. Kicking you out, Satan.
Go join the evil parade of people.
And it's like, what did Satan do? Oh, he questioned you.
Yeah.
It sounds like we are Satan in that regard.
Yeah.
We're questioning your beliefs.
Totally.
So I guess we're our Satan.
Yeah.
And I'm fine
100%.
with that.
Yeah. And sounds pretty cool. I want to hang out with that guy.
To be honest, I do not want to be Jesus.
Yeah.
Do not think I'm Jesus.
Yeah. I honestly think the conversation with Satan would be far more interesting than the conversation with Jesus.
Yeah. How do you think it would start? Jesus would be this. I have something I need to tell you.
Yeah.
Satan would start with like,
what do you think about this?
God, that shirt looks good on you.
Yeah, exactly. Comment.
You look
He'd
great.
compliment you. You look good.
Yeah. He knows how to talk.
Yeah.
It's probably a they.
It's probably a they.
Jesus is a he.
And he's probably incredibly respectful.
Satan's a they because Satan's non-binary. Let's be real.
Let's be real. Wokeism is
That's hell at its finest. You're up.
This is again another one. You'll be surprised at how many were exactly spelled the same way and said the same things, which makes me think they're all Russian bots. I don't think it's all real humans. But nope. Say Christ is Lord now. That's such a
Say it.
Say Christ is Lord now.
Say it. Say it on our podcast.
Say it.
Say it right now.
I
No,
won't.
don't say that. Don't say
I
that.
won't.
Don't say that. I feel like we'd get bad
Yeah.
algorithm. That'd be a bad
That'd
algorithm.
be bad. But dude, it's so many people said that. We're still getting this comment on a daily basis. Almost say Christ is Lord now. What church is that coming from? Is that probably like some extreme like Baptist church? Say Christ is Lord now. You have to.
Oh, it's just evangelicalism.
Yeah.
That's just fat. That's evangelical. That's all the outrage that we're
Yeah.
talking about today. This is it on our podcast in a beautiful form. It's
Say
just,
Christ is Lord
yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's creepy, dude.
Dude,
It's
it
creepy.
is.
Could you imagine in real life? I mean, we've seen that in real life,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, it's just weird. Here's one. Ready? May God, which is lowercase on this comment, by the way, may God punish these unintelligent individuals. Woof.
Oh, thank you.
May God punish.
That sounds like the God of love.
May God smite these two white podcasters.
Yeah. I just, oh man, we had a lot of comments like that where it's like the God's going to judge you. And it's like the God you believe in sounds absolutely
Dude,
horrendously terrifying.
You know what? And I'll say it. If the God that they're referring to is real, we're done.
I don't want to be with that
See
God
you now.
anyway. I guarantee you hell isn't a big ball of burning fire then.
No,
if this is the case. It's probably pretty
the,
cool.
It's probably like an underground club scene.
Yeah, it sounds dope.
It's just like,
yeah.
what?
Whoa.
Walking down the stairs.
Hey! Well, it is hot in here though,
Just
but it's good.
naked people.
Yeah. That's the part of hell is you just don't got clothes anymore.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know we choose well. Woo! Kamala's down there.
It's true. Trump's probably there too.
Yeah, no, he's like,
He's ruining our time.
yeah, he's like on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Doing like finger dances.
Yeah. Doing weird white guy finger dancing.
Whoa, is he on ecstasy? I didn't know Trump was a raver in hell.
Ecstasy is what it's called in hell. I got another one. Here's a good one. I chose this one because it's a good zinger. They said, if everyone is God, no one is God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good one.
Totally.
Totally. 100% here for it.
Yeah. If everyone is God, no one is God. Absolutely.
100% love it. It was such a mic. Should have put a mic drop emoji.
If
in there.
everyone's a human, No one's a human. What a dumb comment. What a dumb comment. Do you have another one?
I have two more, yeah.
Because I have one more that I'll end on that isn't too controversial.
Okay, so I'm going to end on a funny one. This one
This will be our last two because we're up.
One day you will face God, all capitals, at the judgment seat. You won't like it.
Damn. That makes me really want to give my life back to Christ to go to heaven for that to happen.
Yeah, for that God to be a God of love.
Listen, Nathan, I know that you gave your life back to me. Unfortunately, you're not going to like where it comes next.
Yes.
Oh, they were right.
They were right. Bummer.
Scary, all caps too.
Yeah. That's the capital God.
You got one more? Give it to me, baby.
All right. This is a good one. This is a good one just because it made me laugh pretty freaking hard when I read it.
Make me laugh.
Your mom is God.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, 100% she is.
Our mother was God for a long time, and still sometimes she creeps up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God?
God? Is that you? There?
What I love about that comment is you're right. She is black. God is a black woman.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Make it short as that, Zach.
Yeah, well, that's how it's going to end right there.
Last one, and I'm going to read the title of this person's, because you will never be able to find them. Christ is the Lamb is the
username. You read their username.
I did, because Christ is the Lamb is a great username. You're not going to be able to find this person. I'm not going to say anything except, okay, you are free to believe whatever you want, and it's not my job to force you. There is one Christian in this world so far that we've met that actually accepts our beliefs as our own. That's why I shared their profile, because Christ is the Lamb. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you for just being an actual human that believes in freedom of thought.
Let's move on.
Please.
We got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to segue right into our next topic. We're going into pop culture here, current events, baby. And it's kind of all around this realm of Christian outrage. It's really not hard to find information and stories out on the internet about Christian outrage. You can type that into any search bar anywhere, and there will be plenty.
A lot of Christian outrage
of this week, last month, month before. They even have future articles on what's going to happen that Christians are going to be outraged about. It's incredible.
Yeah. There's also a lot of outrage against Christians.
And there's outrage on both sides, okay? The non-believers and the believers, just for very different reasons.
Yeah, one actually wants freedom, and then one wants fascism.
We're going right back up here to our content cam because we're cool like that now. Boom. The Paris Olympics organizers apologized to Christians for Last Supper parody.
Why apologize when you do something magnificent?
It was so good. Yeah. Why apologize for brilliant art?
Oh my God. So good. So good.
So good.
I don't even know what else to say.
So basically, as you can see up here, we're not going to hit play on the video because it wasn't loading and whatever. But you can see there's like potentially what might be the Last Supper behind this blue god-like naked, I'm going to say maybe a man. I don't know. They have a beard. I'm not going to gender them, but they're laying on a table of food. So anyways, so much about the Olympics opening just enraged Christians. And the parody of the biblical scene, it says here, performed against the backdrop of the river scene, was intended to interpret Dionysus and raise awareness of the absurdity of violence between human beings. Then they say here, clearly there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. The opening ceremony tried to celebrate community tolerance. The Paris 2024 spokesperson Anna Descamps told press conference, "We believe this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are really sorry." That's the right response when there's this much outrage from Christians, because here's the number that we heard. 2.4 billion Christians on this planet, potentially, to try to boycott the Olympics. Not because there was a naked blue human being on a plate of food, but because potentially this was mocking the Last Supper of Christ. What a fickle faith. If you ask me.
You said it.
What a fickle faith.
Very fickle.
To be so outraged that you miss art completely. Something about, I think what's interesting about France and Paris, Paris, is if you know anything about Paris, is the Parisians have the best everything.
Yeah.
And so that's their culture. That's kind of their
at least
best art, best music, best food.
That's what the world tells us too.
That's what Parisians tell us. So obviously they're going to bring out an opening ceremony that's going to poke the bear. It wasn't that long ago that there was a horrific club massacre at a gay club in France.
Yeah.
France has been through so much in their history. Talk about colonialism. If you've seen anything about France and how they respond to outrage in their country, if the government's like, we're raising taxes 1%, cars get flipped, buildings go up in flames, and then the taxes don't go up.
It's a great example for what we should be doing in our country.
Right. So it's not shocking that this very much more progressive and understood nation, maybe culturally and sexually, and there's so much more acceptance, I know, in French culture.
Yeah.
But they also have their fair share of insane right-wing fascists as well.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy to me that something like this would cause... No, it's not crazy. It makes a lot of sense why something like this would cause such outrage. There was so many articles of Christian congressmen and spokespersons just blasting the Olympics as being Christians should boycott it nationwide or, internationally.
I just think it's so funny that they think that this painting is anything of the Bible. Didn't Leonardo da Vinci paint this?
Right.
Thousands of years after the Bible was written?
Right.
So you're more mad that we're mocking a painting.
Right. Leonardo da Vinci's painting.
Of an idea from the scriptures in the Bible that it's not even it's factually true the way Leonardo made it look. And you guys you're actually boycotting the fact that we're mocking Leonardo's painting. Nothing to do with Christianity. But yes, a fickle faith.
It says here, France has a rich Catholic heritage, but also has a long tradition of secularism and clericalism.
Clericalism.
Oh my God,
tough word.
What a word.
Tough word.
Blasphemy is legal and considered by many to be an essential pillar of freedom of speech.
Hell yeah.
Supporters of the tableau praise its message of inclusivity and tolerance.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah. What is freedom if you can't have an opinion on things like this? If you can't, blaspheme a little bit.
It's just art. I think this is what art is. This is what art has always been doing. It's not like it's a shocker. I just think that right now, with the ways our post, I am God, you are God, and then 2,500 comments and 250 likes, the ratio is so astronomically imbalanced that the algorithms, they do that. If something starts to trend and there's a louder voice, it's all about getting it to trend.
Yeah.
And so Christian outrage trends. These are loud voices. And so these loud voices spread not just amongst the laymen, it gets into people of power. And then they reshare these tweets. They start, they light that fire even more. And I fucking loved that opening performance. I went back. Yeah, I was I was at work too while we were having it play. And when that part came on, I was just like,
oh, dude, I woke up with the biggest smile on my face that France has bigger balls than most other countries to do that right now.
Paris has the biggest balls.
Paris.
Anyways, damn. There you have it, folks. That was our first content topic of the Moral Combat podcast of today's what episode is this? 80? This is 80. We just did 79.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
I thought Lynn was 78.
Was she 78? I always get it wrong. I didn't even do the clip this time.
No.
Was I supposed to?
No. Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Zach, should we just jump right into our next segment? Because we're at 30 minutes here and we're trying to keep this.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We're having fun. Let's go to the next one.
We're jumping into our next topic. Remember, focusing around Christian outrage. And we really haven't talked about Trump much on this podcast. For years, it was kind of we don't want to give the name
any more steam.
Yeah, any more steam. And it's not really like that anymore. This is more of talking about how there's this insane person in power for so long that has just been lighting the asses of Christian fascists so perfectly.
Oh, and now it's so blatantly
It's so
obvious.
blatantly. And the dictatorship comments and the bringing back Christianity to a nation that's lost it. And
We're so Christian.
2.4 billion Christians might boycott the Olympics. I don't think there's any issues with Christianity in this planet. Let's jump in here, see what we picked. Trump promises a revival of Christian power in speech to national religious broadcasters. Just gonna promises a revival of Christian power. What does that even mean? Hasn't every person in power said God bless America?
Seriously.
When has there not been a Christian president?
Yeah. And if it's not Christian, they're still saying God bless America.
Here's what Trump says, ready? At this convention or whatever. If I get in, you're going to be using that power at a level that you've never used before. So, dictator. Okay. I'm going to be using that power like I've never used before.
Yeah.
What
does that even mean?
Trump? Dude? What do you mean by that? Yeah. That sounds kind of...
And I don't get how Christians believe that that's what's good for us right now, is to have one person with the most power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone that actually believes that's ever the case has no idea how the presidency actually works. There is a whole group of people that are the true people in power. The president is just the face.
Well, I think what's scary about the Trump presidency is I do think that most presidents don't really show that they have much power, but I think Trump...
Oh, he's showing his power.
I mean, that's what's scary about it, right?
Totally.
Is that there's a lot. He says here, with your help and God's grace, the great revival of America begins on November 5th. With your help. Who's he talking to? With
Christians.
He's talking to Christians.
Yeah.
Right? This is what the conventions he's at. He told the religious broadcasters that one of his first acts of a second Trump term would be to set up a task force to root out anti-Christian bias. Zach, what do we do on this podcast?
Anti-Christian bias.
Well,
so I guess we're part of that.
We would get potentially the algorithms and things and would keep us real fucking quiet.
Not even that. We actually might get shut down.
Yeah.
According to that statement from the president, if he becomes president.
Freedom of speech?
Not in this country.
Freedom of content?
Freedom of speech only if you're talking positively about Jesus. But you know what is never going to happen? I will never, ever talk positively about Christianity ever again, no matter what happens in our country. And if that leads to some of the worst things happening in my life, I'm going to think of them as the best things.
Check this out, okay? We'll go to the next article after this. Trump appealed to the religious audience with Bible verses and promises of world peace. He says, "The Bible says, 'Blessed are the peacemakers,'" said Trump, quoting from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, which is psycho. "I will be a peacemaker, and I will be the only president who can say, and I say this with great conviction, I will prevent World War III."
He's going to be the reason why World War III happens. Dude, honestly, if you want to be a peacemaker, why are you going to deport a huge population of our country?
Yeah, all of his campaign right now is lighting up the Christian fascists and saying it's all migrant crime. This is his new word. He came up with it. It's migrant crime. Bident. He calls it like bigrant crime.
He's a racist.
So it's Biden.
Fuck, dude,
yeah,
I hate him.
Fucking so racist. But it's, and talking with my wife, Megan, who is a PhD dissertation writing genius on history and all this. None of this is new, okay? None of these talking points, lighting up Christian fascists, claiming all violence and issues are coming from across the border, like these racist and sexist and crazy comments have been the Republican Party's push. Yeah. And it works like a charm because what Trump's doing and what the Republican Party does is they poke the bear of the Christians, because the Christians in this country and the world, right-wing fascism is a cultural base. And if you can light that base up, they will push your agenda. What's that agenda? I don't think Trump's agenda is anything for Christians. He even in a recent video was like, I love all you Christians. I'm not a Christian. I love all you. And he said that.
Really?
Yeah. So we know that, he had the upside down Bible.
Yeah. During the George Floyd
So all of this
protest.
is just campaign trail. And with Kamala Harris running now, he has to use the strongest part of his base.
And what's the strongest part of his base? Racist, sexist Christians. There, let's go to the next one.
Next one. Probably the same sort of thing here. I think it was like another,
No, he's been saying a lot of things we need to talk about.
Yeah, no, yeah. And this was the same, this was another article I found that was just talking about
the anti-Christian bias.
Yeah, it's the same sort of comments, I think.
Dude,
make America pray again. Oh God.
Something that the Christians need to realize is the statements that Donald Trump is making at his speeches right now, at his rallies, are the same sentences that, I'll say it, Hitler said to their people to take over Germany. Fascism works the same way. History repeats itself. Y'all are falling victim to the coup of Donald Trump. You're being tricked. This is not true. He is not going to do what he says he's going to do. And the things he says he's going to do are going to cause more harm to the American people than the American people need right now. We need different things to happen than deporting a huge part of the population that does the work that majority of us aren't going to do. That's not going to solve shit right now. And that's only going to cause hate and oppression to more people. That's all he is spewing out of his orange mouth is hate and oppression. And he's triggering you guys because you guys are stuck in your belief. It's called terror management theory. Look it up.
Damn, Zach. A lot of heavy connections there. And I agree. Trump said here, they want to fundamentally transform America because they don't like this country. Who are they? Probably us. He said the establishment does not hate Donald Trump because he's a threat to America. They hate him because he's a threat to them. Whoever was, I don't know who was saying that. Maybe it wasn't Trump. Trump says, I have been indicted more than any times in the great gangster Al Capone. So he compares himself to Jesus. He compares himself to Al Capone. He says, I'm being indicted for you, for the Christians. And he claimed that bad things were being done to Christians, Christian crosses. Another thing that would stop if he became president again. And we would work to reverse the decline of organized religion and church going in America. To reverse the decline of organized religion, okay? We have to bring back our religion, he said. We have to bring back Christianity. Christianity hasn't gone anywhere. That's why we have a podcast called Religious Trauma about Christianity, is because it's alive and real and reinforcing this trauma like a curse. It's like a disease. That's why we're here with this podcast, because it's fucking
And look
ridiculous.
At where the disease has grown into. Y'all are electing Donald Trump.
Well, trying to. I think that there's a lot now we can see. There's potential. We have a lot of potential for this not to be the case, which we'll get to in a minute here. What's this one? Trump tells Christian voters they won't have to vote anymore. What?
Trump basically said that if the Christian voters pull through and they vote him into presidency in the next 4 years, they won't even have to vote because he'll fix it.
What is that like? What like a dictatorship type
100%.
comment?
That's straight dictatorship. You won't need a vote because I'll be able just to be president again. Votes won't matter at that point.
He says here, Christians, get out and vote just this time.
Just this time. You won't have to do it again.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians.
Yes.
My beautiful Christians.
Yes.
My beautiful. These are his Christians.
This is the same Christian that also molested a 13-year-old multiple times, multiple of them. We actually have court documents with his name on it.
Oh, yeah. But I don't think, the thing is, I do think that Donald Trump is not a Christian, mind you.
Definitely not.
So that's just like
100% not a Christian.
No, he
tried to quote a verse in the Bible during the George Floyd protests and totally fucked it up and hold the Bible upside down.
Well, he's learned a lot over the last 4 years, and he's coming out hot now for the Christians.
That's his only way of winning.
Here's this other one, so we can get out of the Trump sphere, but we did it.
We need to talk
about the redhead.
Talk about the fucking idiot. Dude.
Ohio state senator says, get a load of this, only civil war would save us from Harris presidency. What a statement. I watched that movie, Civil War, by the way.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
You didn't like it?
No. And I love that director. Same guy that did Annihilation with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
That movie fucked me up.
Yeah.
That movie, Civil War, good timing, I guess, but it wasn't done right. Was not done that well. sorry, just sidetrack there, because there is a movie now out there that you can watch that's kind of like depicting what a civil war might be like. And I don't know. Senator George Lang said, I believe wholeheartedly Donald Trump and Butler County's J.D. Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved.
I just think it's so silly how they think if they lost, they could beat the military. With what? Their AK-47s? Have you ever seen a tank on a street?
I think it's more of like how much of the military sides with the right-wing fascists.
Dude, they side with
that's
who's
what
in
a coup
presidency.
is. I mean, that's like...
I can tell you right now, more of the military sides not with Trump. But if Trump becomes president, they're going to side with Trump. You side with your president because most of the time.
Following the law.
Following the law. You know how much trouble you can get in not following your president? But if Harris wins and they're like, Civil War, it's like, cool, now you're fighting the entire U.S. military. We put $1 trillion into that bitch every year. Pretty sure you're going to lose that Civil War. And then we're going to start putting some rules on Christians. We're going to start putting some restrictions on religions because look how extreme it's getting.
Yeah.
That would be the next step. So if you Christians really want your religion, don't do a civil war.
Well, let me ask you a question. When we read things like this and we're talking about it on the cast, okay, do you actually think this country, given the circumstances we're in right now and what comes in November, do you think that's actually a possibility?
A civil war?
Again, because we've had a civil war before. So and that wasn't that long ago. We've only been around about 300 years, okay? Yeah. Baby country here.
Yeah.
Civil war was only like 150 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think it could happen again? Truly.
It definitely won't look the same. I was just talking to the rehab specialist that I see on a weekly basis about this, and he's a veteran from the Iraq War. And he gives some really great insight on everyone that glorifies a civil war happening, thinking it's going to end in your favor, has no idea what you're talking about. And the amount of death and violence and scary times during a civil war would be absolutely terrifying. The power grid would probably go off. And who here knows how to live without power? Very few. Who here knows how to live without sewage? Very few. Very quickly, we would all get very sick. And it would start to become like famine very fast. It wouldn't be, oh, you guys are willing to kill us, so we're scared now. That war would continue, and it would
totally.
It would not be a good thing.
We could have a whole podcast talking about the potentials and possibilities of what would happen during a civil war. But do you, like, inside of you, like when you think, because I know that you get litty titties on this shit.
Yeah.
Do you actually have like internal, like, does this?
I do know
this is poking the bear. Yeah. Okay.
So I can say one thing with at least in my head some pretty strong certainty. Both sides are pretty heated right now. Both sides feel like the country needs to go different ways. The left feel like if Trump becomes president, we're done, and that we would need to fight for our freedoms. They feel the same way. That's how extreme and polarized we are.
Right.
Civil war is such a term thrown around that is pretty ridiculous to think about, that we would actually be at war with that many people. I think if there's going to be any violence, it's going to be quick and it's going to be shut down very fast. And it's going to be scary for a little bit of time. I don't think it's going to ever be a civil war. I think it's going to be pockets of violence throughout our country of people having a little hitty fit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really scary.
You know what? And like, once again, it's like all of this rhetoric does really good to light up like super right-wing Christian voters, right? And just right-wing voters in general. This type of rhetoric, fear-mongering really, really works to get people out into the polls.
Yeah.
And so I know like this is what's happening. And so I'm not really one that ever has any sort of fear. I don't ever think it's ever going to escalate to that point.
So then let me bounce this off you. I'm not sure if you're following this. They've already said they're going to deny the election results if Trump doesn't win, and they're going to force it to the Supreme Court.
Totally, but that's nothing new. They did that last time.
It isn't nothing new, but the Supreme Court, if we've seen anything recently, is a far-right leaning Supreme Court that would favor Donald Trump over Kamala Harris, and they would.
I thought Biden put in that whole like
we're working on it right now.
Try to like get people out of the Supreme Court and all that. You know, the other thing about this is I truly like the whole alleged attempt of assassination of Donald Trump. Allegedly. Right. You can't sue me if I'm not saying it, whether it is or real or not. It's allegedly Donald Trump was shot.
His ear healed so fast.
Yeah.
Wow. They must have some new medication.
The fact that the FBI director comes out and he's like, I don't think he was actually, potentially wasn't shot in the ear, might have been shrapnel and all this. But like, do you see how quickly there is no nobody in government is talking about this potential like assassination attempt. What a big fucking idea.
Yeah.
Right. And we're just right off into the next thing. And Trump's right back out there campaigning. Yeah. It's so weird. But like,
dude, it's actually so
hypothetically,
obvious.
You know, allegedly he got shot. Allegedly it's all planned. Right. Let's just say that. If it's all planned, or if it's not, if it is all planned, that's really fucking scary.
Totally.
Right. Versus like a psycho, like white boy right winger who's like, you know, looking at porn. That's a lot less scary. This is America.
Yeah.
This is America. Americans have guns. Guns get shot. People get killed. Mass shootings happen all the time. That's pretty damn.
Yeah.
We expect that. But if it was like BlackRock, you know, the shooter was in that BlackRock commercial like years prior, and then
BlackRock took a fat short on Donald Trump's business because if he died, his stock would plummet. And so they were trying to vote that it's going to plummet right before his assassination attempt. So there is some shady shit going on. But like
outside of all that, none of it's being talked about. Why? Because if this was real, these are the signs that like shit can escalate. Right? Like if it was I don't know. That's like one of the things I've been thinking about is like, why aren't we figuring out, why isn't there much more of a deep dive of what that was on like a national news level?
Yeah.
We're already just right into the next fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
And we haven't even like, that's nuts. Allegedly nuts.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking about with like, I don't think this country wants to capitalize on violence to the point of leading people to a civil war. I don't think that's the goal. The goal is to get people to go vote for their candidate. And so it's not.
I just know, dude, that the last election was really, really, really scary when the Trump administration started to say it was a fake election.
Oh yeah,
and that the
you mean
votes
the whole
weren't
coup
real
on January 6th?
Dude, that's a scary time.
That's probably the scariest time of our country, rather than like the Civil War.
It was the closest we've been in since then, and so to this next time around, they're even more heated. So it's hard to think that nothing would happen, and it's hard to think that they're not going to deny the results. I think the only way this just kind of like dissipates is if they stop having such a pull and the results are like 70% to 30. And it's just like, no, dude, Kamala won like by a landslide.
Yeah.
That's the only time where I think this isn't going to fall in not everyone's favor.
Right. I think it's really good. Right there, you just made a really good segue into Kamala Harris.
Let's do it.
Because we're hitting the hot topics with the red guy. We got to talk about our... you know what? I'll say our because we don't want Trump to be president. No. Good God, no.
I vote for anyone besides Trump.
And so we will most fucking definitely vote for Kamala Harris on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
We support Kamala Harris on the Moral Combat podcast. And she has lit up the world since she's, running for presidency, as everybody knows. And she's really pissing off Christians.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Talk about Christian outrage. Kamala Harris prompts outrage with historic tour of Minnesota abortion clinic, and in quotes, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. She loves to watch babies die.
If anybody caught, Kamala Harris's first speech after it was announced that she was running for president, she hit every hot topic that would piss off this right-winged movement, and called Trump out on shit, and it was nuts. Let me see if I can find the quote here. Here it is. This is what Kamala Harris does is she goes to this abortion clinic. She makes this comment. Every individual who becomes pregnant has a fundamental right to continue the pregnancy and give birth or obtain an abortion and to make autonomous decisions about how to exercise this fundamental right. Okay. Strongly supporting abortion rights for women's bodies, autonomy, all of that. Freedom, true freedom, right? And we know how much that just lights up the right wingers. So here is a quote. The visit will undoubtedly show the smiling faces of the abortionists and a deceptively pleasant atmosphere, but they won't show the helplessness and the heartbreak each mother feels as her child is killed and torn from her womb, FRC says. They won't show the tools used to literally tear a child limb from limb. They won't show the room where the abortionist callously reconstructs the baby's body to make sure he got all the parts.
Huh.
I want to educate people.
Yeah, please do.
On how abortions work.
Please do. Yeah. Let them
They're
know.
called DNCs.
Mhm.
Okay. Dilation and curtage is the name of the medical term for a surgical procedure that is done for a woman, mostly women that I know of. I don't know if other
Yet.
is that a statement? Can I say that?
You can say it.
Okay. That to remove, the egg from the uterus wall. And it's a fairly simple procedure with a lot of high risk consequences to the person getting it done. It's a same day procedure and there are no body parts. Okay. We're going in there and literally what the doctor does is they, if you will, scraping the uterine line to remove where that egg has been embedded. It's extremely violent in terms of the fact that like a period has blood. So taking out the egg of a uterine lining has blood. What is a period is when the uterine lining is shed. So that's happening every month naturally for women. They're aborting their eggs naturally so that they don't die.
Yep.
Okay. And so the only reason why that egg gets embedded into, the uterine wall or whatever to start growing is because sperm had, seeded it in the fallopian tubes. Anyways, so it's really no different than like up here. It's just humans helping humans do that when they weren't meaning to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So all of this like heresy, this sort of like fear mongering of body parts and tools is so far from the truth. It's not even funny.
Totally.
As a nurse, I had to make that statement.
Yeah. Thanks for educating us.
If I said anything that was incorrect, I guarantee you're going to tell me in the comments.
I also love how a convicted, I'm not going to use the word because that's going to hurt the algorithm, but, molester is the one fighting for your abortion rights as a female. The man who has gotten multiple women pregnant and probably had them aborted. If not, doesn't matter.
Wait, who, the wife beater? Oh, Trump. Yeah, the wife beater.
Yes.
That guy, yeah.
Him. He has taken advantage of women his entire life violently. If you've read the statements, I know you all consider it fake news, but you consider everything fake news that doesn't agree with you. It's actually a fallacy. You can read up on it. Either way, the Trump you're voting for doesn't care about you and your body. I don't know how else to say that.
Yeah, no, I think that's you said it. And I think Kamala Harris is like, hey, I give the right to the person to decide what they want to do with their own body.
Yeah.
And Trump goes, we're going to take away all rights nationally from most. And like, yeah, we don't need to go down the abortion thing. It's just important to see how Kamala Harris is pissing off the right-wing Christians by supporting women's bodies.
I just think before you go into that, I just think it's super interesting how the Republicans are fighting for freedom when they are legit. Every part of their policies they want to enact are to take freedoms away from people. And every policy the Democrats are trying to enact are to give more freedoms to more people. Whether you agree with how those freedoms are being distributed, there's one party trying to give more and there's one party trying to take away. And in this party, they're trying to say, we believe this is going to make you all more free, when really it's ripping freedom from the majority of people in the name of freedom. It's a huge, it makes no sense.
And before we share the next article, I want to like make a very huge point. How do I say this? We're performing here on this podcast and doing our very best to be as authentic and real as possible. In fact, this podcast feels the most honest I felt with you in a long time because we're alone and we're talking about the shit that, we have fun with.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Damn it.
We're acting.
Oh, that, you have like the right wing, Republicans and you have the left wing Democrats. And do me and Zach, I won't speak for Zach, but I know he agrees with me on this. But like, do you think we are like super excited for these presidents like Kamala? No, it's not like we're like excited for that president to get in. I don't necessarily believe both sides are telling the ultimate truth.
No.
And we have seen so many times, and I'll use a sad example. I was like I love Obama. He was a great president. He did a lot of great things. The first black man president of our country, and just allowed so many drone strikes on innocent, Iraqi civilians, just mass murdered. So many people.
After we knew there was no mass weapons.
So many statements about him not doing that he made.
Yeah.
And so let us be the ones here saying that we know that in this country, the presidents in power do not stay to their word because, like Zach said, they're not the ones running the show here.
Yeah.
Okay. But given that, y'all know I'm fucking voting for this shit. Okay. I'm going to vote for the one that's giving women the rights to decide what they want for their own body. That's very important to me.
There is a better between two evils here.
Yes.
And it's so obvious.
Yeah.
So obvious.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Kamala Harris is a fucking cop. She arrested millions of black people for marijuana charges, right, Zachary?
We talked about this earlier, folks, and I was telling Nathan that I was recently reading an article that debunked that she didn't put thousands of black men into prison for marijuana charges. It was actually only 45. But
45! That's something I am furious.
Out of 2056.
Do you know how weird it is to vote for a cop? It's the world we live in is crazy. But she is a mixed race Indian black woman. And that's a motherfucking person I want on that stand.
100%. Remember, the president is the face. That's their main job.
Talk about
the face.
How much would the planet benefit from that face?
Especially,
I was telling Megan that. Imagine her sitting with Putin.
Dude, imagine Pete Buttigieg. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Buttigieg, yeah.
Imagine Pete Buttigieg sitting with Putin.
Buttigieg.
Imagine a presidency with a black woman as president and a gay man as a vice president. Talk about change.
Who knows? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's like definitely not getting any Christian voters on that ticket, but hey.
We don't need you Christians anymore.
Let me reframe that. Let me rephrase that. You know, I have been seeing a lot online and this is so important to say, we're talking about fascist right-wing Christian evangelicals. Okay, we're not talking about generalized Christians here. That's why I keep saying right-wing fascists. Because there are a lot of Christians online that are coming out saying things. I am a born-again Christian, owns a truck and guns, and I will, what was that person's comment? I will crawl through broken glass to vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
So this isn't a all Christians thing. This is a very specific Trump-focused MAGA Christian fascist, and he's lighting up the Christian movement right now, and it's causing a lot of outrage.
Yeah. The cult of Christianity is really getting a grip on some people.
We have to hold presidents accountable for everything.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's really hard to hold fucking Trump accountable for anything. The guy's a goddamn rapist. This is the one that we're going to hold Kamala Harris, soak her hands to the fire, feet to the fire, whatever. Kamala Harris says young anti-Israel protesters showing exactly what the human emotion should be in response to Gaza. July 9th, she said this. This is so important to me and Zach.
Yeah.
And should be important to all Americans. Listen, I strongly believe that our ability to evaluate a situation is connected to understanding the details of that situation. This is what Kamala said. Okay, the trucks are taking flour into Gaza, but here's the thing, Joanne, the interviewer, I like to cook. So I said to my team, you can't make shit with flour if you don't have clean water. So what's going on with that? I ask questions like, what are people actually eating right now? So Kamala's been poking at not just the war machine that's being sent over from our country to Israel. She's talking about the lives of people in Gaza.
Yeah.
What is it like? It's pure misery.
Yeah.
And has been for so long.
Yeah.
This is a president that when she becomes president, what is she going to do about this situation? What can she do about this situation? Can she actually do anything? Or is this just a hot topic that she's going to get people like me and Zach riled up about and be like, we had a podcast on this shit. Stand up for Palestine. I'm voting for you.
Also, look at the two presidents. If you really care about defunding Israel, if we really don't want to be funding Israel anymore, do you really think you're going to sway Trump with protesting? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think Trump's going to do the same thing. I think we can continue to fight for the rights of the Palestinians with Kamala in office and hopefully push her to do the right thing. And hopefully push our government to do the right thing in these next 4 years and stop being fully controlled by this psychopath Netanyahu.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath.
I mean, our Congress just opened doors to him.
They did, and we gave him a standing ovation with 110 actors, mind you, not all full of Congress. I heard about that. Yeah, we had to fill the seats because not that many people wanted to go.
Yeah, just insane that Netanyahu was at the Congress giving that speech like a proud American that he is. And to find out that half of the people in Congress didn't show as, standing up against this shit. And so they hired 100+ actors to sit in those chairs and to come touch his hands after.
Oh, man. If you guys haven't watched that yet, you should watch it. Look at a dictatorship forming. Looked fake.
This episode has been hot. It's been political. I've actually really enjoyed our time together.
I feel really liberated.
No, it's fun. And I think we're going to be getting a lot more of this. Not like the this is just like the hot shit around Christian outrage. I think that our goals on these solo podcasts is to have some fun and really not poke the bear, but poke the internet.
But also, like, it's okay to talk about these things because these are real things happening in our daily lives on a daily basis.
Yep.
Oh, what's this?
Given with just like how all of this shit, like we get it. It's all a show.
Yeah.
This is a show. Even though what we're talking about is real, please see that the Mortal Kombat podcast on YouTube, TikTok, wherever you're watching this is a fucking show.
It's a show, guys.
And we are performers doing our best to deliver something authentic to you, but it's still just a show. Politics are a show. Paris Olympics are a show. I mean, those athletes are really going at it. So it's
Can we talk
show.
about how underpaid they are?
The athletes?
Oh my gosh. Unless you're like Simone Biles, well,
yeah, if you're branded and you have
all these sponsors. Every one of them,
every sport though.
Every one of them's only paid about like $500 to be there.
Yeah, I mean this is the gimmick, man. But they probably get flown there and they get room and board and all for free. So.
Oh, you mean you're just one of like the strongest people in the world?
I'm not disagreeing.
Breaking world records, and we're like, here's $500. Dude,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Go back to your job at Starbucks.
But like, anybody that makes a medal is going to get sponsors that nobody else. Yeah, totally. It's the Olympics.
I would just hope we lived in a world where if you were the best at something, or some of the strongest, or even competing to be the strongest or best at something, you should be funded capitalistically. That should be your life. You're that good at it.
Yeah,
but we live in a world where it's like you're second best. So you're going to have to go get a day job.
Here's one for you Gen Zers or even Xers that are watching this. You won't ever remember. You'll never remember a time when the greatest Olympian of our time, Michael Phelps, was canceled for smoking a bong.
One bong rip in a picture, like in college. Like
it was like the article was like the man has to eat 20,000 calories a day, and one of the ways he does that is with marijuana.
Canceled. He got canceled hard, dude.
So hard
for one photo.
And
of
that
him
video was
bong.
like him in a house. He was just like, done, and it was like, bye.
Yeah. Hopefully we've let go of that. I saw him just compete again, and he won.
No, like that was given enough time that I get. Anyways, we got to get on. We got to watch something a little bit more soothing. We got to relax for a little bit. We're going to jump into the game cam right after this. But before that, Zach, I got something I want to play for you. And all of you there at home, or wherever you're watching. This is something that will help us feel a little bit better. Let's go.
Oh, look at his paws.
Oh, look at the little pink jelly beans.
Oh, he's just waking up from a nap. Just waking up from a nap. Oh.
Wow.
Save all of them.
Save all of them. Best friends. I don't know. Maybe don't donate to them.
Yeah, we don't know that.
I actually feel better.
As I was watching, I was like, this was supposed to be funny, but I actually feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good.
I feel good. That was a very cute cat.
Wow. Thank you, kittens, for bringing things back to the center. We will be right back. And we're back.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Something we've always done in our solo podcasts is have a little fun at the end of them.
We don't got to explain it every time. We're going to do the game cam, guys. You know what it is.
We're going to explain it every time. Get over it, Nathan. It's always kind of hard jumping back in because we're setting it up. And then it's like, oh, that's right. Here we are.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go over to the
game cam.
Game cam.
I like how you snuck the in. I was almost going to do the game cam.
Yeah, it was like, here at the Mortal Kombat Podcast, we believe in connecting with your inner child. So one of the things we do in our podcasts is connecting with our childhood, which we used to play Mario Kart 64.
We used to go to church, get traumatized, and then go home and play.
Yeah, we didn't know we were getting traumatized.
Oh, it felt so good at the time. I felt like I was doing the Lord's work.
The last time that we played the game cam was the first and only time so far that we've ever played with a guest. That was with Jordan Dolby.
Oh, I can't wait to have Jordan back on.
That was such a good game cam as well, too.
What a great episode. That was
DK
so
today.
Fun. Talk about a fun episode.
And so we only used to do, game cams on our solo podcasts. And here we are. We're doing it again. That's how we do it, baby.
Yeah, we almost weren't going to do it, but then
I won the last one.
You slayed.
And we did Big Donuts to today's block for it.
We are using the small controllers.
Yeah.
That always makes it a little tougher.
The other ones.
So.
And we know block for it is a bigger map. These tend to be longer game cams in the past.
I feel like when we were playing with Jordan, we should have just gone to Block Fort and then Big Donut next time.
The reason why I like Big Donut is because it doesn't make for such like a 20-minute long game
Dude,
cam.
If you edit them, when I edit the shorts for them, they're pretty fun to watch. Watch the whole thing because I cut through all the bullshit.
Okay, here we go. Game 1, best out of 3, and go! Hey. Oh, God! I knew it!
Yourself.
I just hit myself!
Oh, dude!
Whoa! This is gonna be a quick game. No.
Oh, I'm coming for you.
Oh my God, that was some bullshit, man. You know, it is harder though on the.
Oh, you got me from the side, dude. Oh,
it is harder with the smaller controllers.
It is.
Wow, you really dipped fast. Lost you there. I'm DK. Zachary is Yoshi. I always like to play Yoshi. He's quick. Gotta be quick.
Gotta be quick with me.
Hey,
I'm
watch
from
the
PA.
shell. We quote that thing you do a lot.
Great movie. Oh God.
Come here. Yeah, hit that wall. Get slow, baby. Get slow. Come here. Oh my.
Got you, dude. I played that so well. I played that very well. I'm just gonna give myself a pat on the back. Good job, Zach. That's how you slay. That's for you, Jordan, because he kicked our butts last time.
Yeah, so if Zach wins this next match, it's over.
Yeah, it's over hard. I'm gonna win this match. I didn't want to give him any grace. Last time it was really sad. He just made me and Jordan look so stupid.
Oh man, it was a good game though, man. That was actually we played really well there.
What are these red shells, dude?
We're getting a lot of red shells this game. I'm such a moron! Oh, no.
Oh, dude, I tried to swim.
Yes. See? You're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Dumb and Dumber.
Movie quotes.
Another quotes. More quotes.
Quotes on quotes. We like them quotes.
Wow, red shell from up top. That's another one on me. If I'm not careful, I gotta move. Nice shot,
no.
dude. You panicked.
That's called a panic play.
Yeah, your star power can't be fast enough for where you are, buddy.
I don't know.
Don't play it.
I'm not playing it.
Wow, another star. See, I just have to stay away from you for a while. It's kind of boring. I'll be up here. If you need me, I'll be here all day. Yes! This is my time.
Like that little sneak move there?
Here's another quote. Just skipping around the surface. Star Wars. New Hope.
Star Wars New Hope. Just in case.
Just skipping around the surface. Wow, this is it. Come here. Bye-bye.
Man, why didn't none of them shoot out? Ooh.
Oh! No.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Nice shot, dude.
Yes. Okay, one-on-one. This is it, dude. I'm feeling it. I got you, baby.
You don't got it.
I got you, baby. I got you, babe. Come here, you son of a bitch. Oh, that was hot, dude. I did not think I was going to jump that well. I hoppity skippity. Oh, I hit a box!
Oh, darn, dude. I was placing boxes and bananas everywhere. It worked out. Hey, Jordan, that was for you.
Zach played well. I can almost feel after the first match that we were both playing good, but you had something.
I was playing very good.
You had something.
Thanks, man.
You had something.
Yeah, thanks, man. Sometimes you got it, and it's not fun.
You know what?
When they got it, it's not that fun.
Good game.
Thanks, man.
Echo, garage on. Good game, Zach. Whatever. Oh, what a fun episode.
Well, it's been fun, guys. It's been fun.
If
you enjoyed this episode, if you made it this far, and you kind of like us doing these opinion rants, because we haven't really known if this is gonna. What are we watching?
Yeah, that's creepy.
Oh,
no, I think
my
this
goodness.
is this is right now on our TV. You're seeing it. I know you're seeing it up there. those from Con or whatever, Comic-Con.
Yeah, that
It's
scared
creepy.
me.
It's creepy.
What was I talking about?
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, if you liked it, please let us know.
Yeah,
Jeez,
let us know.
Man, that terrified me.
And if you didn't like it, well, I don't know. We'll probably do it again.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter actually what you think, but we would love to hear your opinion.
And we're probably going to have some old guests. Someday we might invite an old guest on to do the same type of idea where we're talking current events, pop culture shit, politics, all related around religious trauma, Christian outrage, how it's affecting us, what our, all that shit.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this was episode 79.
I think it was 79.
We'll find out when we edit it.
I think it's 79.
Anything else? We're getting merch.
Okay,
soon.
so yeah, our graphic designer, Chantel Bogue, she is right now
moving
on the road. Her house is packed up and she's leaving our county. So she's actually going to be on the other side of the United States, and we're all very sad about that.
Moving.
She has been building up her portfolio to get a new job. And one of the things she did is make some merch for us, or merch ideas. And it is such good merch.
We just haven't really approached it officially yet, but we don't have any scheduled interviews.
Yeah.
We know, if you've made it this far, I'll say this, we know those of you out there that have reached out to us wanting to be on our podcast, we see you.
Yeah.
And maybe someday we will get to that. We'll be talking with y'all. But I think mine and Zach's goal, kind of the second half of this year, we'll do interviews, but our goal is to be building up our platform more here.
Yeah.
Building up more of our brand of what we really enjoy as actors, as performers, and our website and our merch.
Yeah.
And
if you do have a story that you want to be interviewed on this podcast, you're free to send it to us. We've had a handful of people hit us up and let us know they want to, like, where would they send their story? What is, like, the process?
I think a lot of it's kind of like, it's not, these stories matter. That's what we're doing them. But this is not, it's not an easy thing to come on a public podcast to share your trauma with the world.
Yeah.
And we are not wanting to use our podcast as a place for people just to get their name out there by using their past trauma to capitalize on their name.
Yeah.
Although that's something that happens in the process of doing this, we understand that. Our energy and focus has never been that. Every single guest that we have had on has not been to capitalize on their names. It's been extreme vulnerability, hour-long conversations before the podcast to get to know each other, and now we have relationships following. That's why these stories that we've shared mean so much to us, because they're truly intimate. They matter to me and Zach, and there was authenticity behind them, not just the act of going online and using that as a way to be online. I guess,
And there's many people very authentically reaching out to us and
I'm not saying anybody specific. I'm not talking about anybody
sharing
specific.
really, really vulnerable stories, and we see you. We're at a place right now where we're trying to be a little picky with who we're gonna have on our podcast. But if you really feel called, oh my gosh, that sounds Christian. But if you really feel called to be on our podcast, please send it to us. And if it's meant to be, we'll have you on. We want these stories to be shared. Something you said on a previous podcast is that these stories are what make this important. The stories are the power. They're the truth of the religious trauma. So we do want your stories on the podcast. We are just in another growth part of what we're doing here. And I wish we could be podcasting 3 times a week.
I mean, someday, we used to post every week and podcast every week, and now we're every other week because we just can't.
Because we're the only ones doing it. We're the producers, we're the editors. And we keep saying that, but we do believe that in the coming future, this growth is going to be getting some more people on the team and making this more of a production. And we're stoked for that. And there might be a time where we can have more interviews and put more time into that. But still, we see you. And if you're meant to be on our podcast, you're going to be on our podcast. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for being fans. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
comments and
following us, continuing to follow us, supporting us. We hope you continue to. We love you all.
Yeah.
Truly do.
Yeah.
I love you, Zach.
Love you, dude.
And I'm hoping for another beautiful week. So thank you, everybody. And we'll get this out this Friday because we're recording it a week from when we're
It's been a minute since we've recorded and released this quick.
Yeah.
So this is a recent one.
Which is important because we're talking about some current stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple weeks, guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody.